So here's the before on my beautiful client Tatiana. As you can see, her extensions have grown out and so has her color. So today we were adjusting her extensions and also touching up her money piece, which is what I am starting to do here. I'm starting off by pre-sectioning about 3/4 of an inch subsection, and I'm going to be taking back-to-back slices doing air touch. I have talked about this many times on my channel, on my social media. It is my usual go-to technique. I love it. It's efficient and just amazing. So since her hairline is a widow's peak, I am doing a foil on each side that meets in the middle, and then I'm going to connect them with a horizontal section that goes in between them, if that makes sense. I am doing 3 back-to-back slices, and then the last foil will be a weave. And I am using my Vellon comb set, which I've also spoken about. It's awesome. Definitely go and get it. It is a game changer. These are automatic highlighting combs, and it makes everything come out even better. I love them, love them, love them. So this is that first horizontal foil that you see here, and then I'm going to be doing that weave here, which you're going to see me use the comb actually. And I believe this is the highlight, which is the number 3 out of their 5-piece set. And I don't know if I mentioned it, but I'm using Blahme Schwarzkopf and 13 volume. I am running it from root to end because we are trying to get her lighter. She was a color correction of mine who she first came to me. She was basically a burgundy with some blonde highlights in there. So the fact that we got her to where she is now, just a miracle in itself. So we're, still trying to get her lighter though. So that's what we're achieving today with the money piece, is just to add a little bit more brightness to her. And I did 2 foils on each side of her face. I did a slice and then I did a weave. So yeah, so you can see a little bit of a better angle here now, just what I'm doing. And again, air touch is like my go-to technique. I don't know how else to explain it. It's just amazing. You don't even have to try when doing this technique because it just does it for you. And now that I finished her whole money piece, I did drop a little bit of bleach on my client's cape, so I just wanted to wipe that up. And what I'm now doing is that piece that I just sectioned out is going to act as a natural low light, so that this way there's a little bit of depth behind that money piece to make it pop more. And then I'm doing, I believe I did like 4 or 5 foils. Don't quote me when we get there. I'll correct myself if I was wrong. But I am doing just like 4 or 5 foils in the back here so that you could see. Just to further bring the blend up in the back and just, kind of brighten it up a little bit again. She does have extensions that I, had colored, so those got pretty light on their own. Obviously, with her hair being a color correction from red, we weren't sure how light her hair would lift, but her hair actually took color pretty well. So I'm gonna just finish up these foils and then I will further explain in a little bit. So it's actually 6 foils that I did in this back section, and right here I realized I had enough to do another foil in her hair of my lightener, so I don't want to waste product. I'm very appreciative of my boss. She buys very nice products for us to use, so what's one more foil gonna do? You know what I mean? So I just threw that in here, and yeah, This application probably took about like 25 minutes, something like that. And I'm just taking the hair that's in between the pieces, or the foils, sorry, and moving them to the side, and then you'll get to see the foil application here. So right about here is exactly why I wanted to do this video today, which I wanted to show you. I'm just giving her hair a nice brush just to make sure that it is detangled, and I'm clipping her foils up and out of the way, and I'm going to adjust her extensions while her foils are processing. I am a firm believer of work smarter, not harder. And since the foils were going to have to sit for at least 25-30 minutes, perfect time to do this. You know what I mean? Kill some time, and plus it's going to be a little bit more comfortable. They're not going to have the weight of the water weighing the extensions down in the shampoo bowl since they've grown out, which is not a comfortable feeling after a certain point. And these extensions are very easy to maintenance. I can do an adjustment or a tightening, whatever you may like to call it, probably in about 5 to 10 minutes, especially if the client properly takes care of it. Obviously, if the client allows their hair to get matted or like very knotty, it's a little bit of a different situation, but she takes care of her hair very well, so I was not worried about it. And just for those wondering, she does have 2 rows that go temple to temple, and then she has 1 mini row underneath. And this was all virgin hair that I had custom colored, to match with her color correction I had previously done on her. And you can see right here, I'm getting onto that mini row underneath. And I did have to replace one of the beads there. And then I also do like to check, especially for the beads around the face, sometimes the beads can change color. So if they're doing that, I'll just swap those beads out and just put new ones, so that this way, like when they pull their hair back, you don't see like a silver bead or a bead that looks like the colors, changing. And I'm basically pulling all her foils out now. Ugh, that foil pull is so satisfying. Her hair lifted so amazing today, and we were so happy with the finished result. And I'm basically just pulling all her foils out. They're all ready. And I'm just going to give her a nice shampoo. I did use the Wella purple shampoo, and I tend to always mix it with their regular color shampoo as well, just because I find it dilutes it so it doesn't like grab splotchy, if that makes sense. And I prepped her for her shadow root and her toner. So I gave her 2 shampoos just to make sure all the bleach was out of her hair. This is sped up, so don't think I'm just like rushing through this. This is sped up by a lot. I'm trying to make this video not too long where people are gonna sit and be bored halfway through it. But there is a lot of people who enjoy watching the full process, which is why I'm doing these videos. So right here, I'm just towel drying her just to make sure that she is good to go for her toner. I shadow rooted her with Wella Color Touch 3-Stroke O, which was the same color I used to cover her red when we had did her color correction. And that color matches her natural pretty closely, so that's why I went with it. So I'm taking probably 1/4 inch subsections, and I'm now using the Wow comb, and I'm just using that just to help create that blend through the shadow root into the highlights, just so that this way there's no harsh lines, everything is super blended. And I'm gonna let this process for about 10 minutes, and then I went in with Riken 9N, and that was her overall toner. So after letting this process for the 10 minutes, what I then did was I then put the Riken on top of it so I can mush the 2 together. And right here we have the finished look, and we were obsessed. The money piece makes or breaks these lived-in hair colors. I am a firm believer, you gotta have a money piece, otherwise it just looks like your roots grown out. And as you can see here, her extensions are nice, neat, and tidy. They're back up to scalp, nicely adjusted, no tension, no damage. And then here's a little comparison of before and after, just so that you could really see the transformation next to each other. Tell me what you think.